speaking of that, before we start getting into spoilers soon, if you haven't seen it, we're gonna start getting into spoilers in a matter of like 3 to 5 minutes. How would you rank your top? If you had a top five, I don't know if you guys had one. I have a top 5, and I'll share mine first of my favorite Batman movies. Obviously, still number one is The Dark Knight. I absolutely love that movie, and the experience that I have and still have 14 years later, it's still unmatched. Uh, I will say Batman Begins as my 2A, and The Batman as being 2B. I can't really, you know, they're neck and neck. I can't decide because it rejuvenated the franchise so much for film that I was just like, you can't.
But how different is 2A and 2B from 2 and 3?
No, it's just like they're neck and neck
Yeah.
because this is the same like kind of
Just
revitalizing.
minimalizing that margin.
Just it's not because I put it. I could literally put the Batman as 2A and Batman Begins as 2B.
Right.
Like it's literally they're par. They're on the same plane because they reimagined the genre and reimagined the character, and they did a perfect job. I thought it was a perfect job by. And they're two completely different movies. Like Batman Begins, Batman is a completely different Batman than Christian Bale, and so that reason there says it can't compare. But as a movie, as well, I had to take that into account, and that's why The Dark Knight actually supersedes the other one because it was the scheme by the Joker was better. I asked you about that, Shane. Is like who had the better scheme, fucking Joker or the Riddler? And I was just like the Joker was ahead of the curve the entire movie.
Well, as was the Riddler, but
The Riddler plan comes to fruition.
Right.
And so, then we'll talk about what happens after that.
The Joker had more fun with it.
Yeah, the Joker.
He's more interesting.
I want to drive. Like he had way more fun with it. Even though like there were scenes with the Riddler and Batman, they were like, wow, he had a really good time with this.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I would say I guess that's technically 3, whatever. But my third would be The Dark Knight Rises because I still absolutely love that movie. And then number 4. No, I'm sorry. It's the original Batman. Number 3 is the 1989 Batman, Michael Keaton. And then number 5 is Batman Forever. Only because it's so entertaining. And I grew up. That was a childhood movie for me.
Yeah.
same.
So
Same.
I was just like, I love the Riddler in that for Jim Carrey Two-Face. It was just super entertaining. Schumacher was, he knew what he was getting into. So I was just
He's
like,
following up Tim Burton making Batman Returns, after
Yeah.
Tim Burton
I
literally
liked
got
the-
kicked off the project for being too dark
yep.
in his Batman movies. I think it would have been better if it were Tim Burton, but at least he still stood on as producer and whatever
Yeah,
for that film.
exactly.
It
So,
still maintained that sort of the same vibe at times,
yeah. So, what about you, Drew? Where would you rank? Where would you rank the Batman and compares to?
Definitely in top 5. It belongs in anybody's top 5. Crazy not to. But my number one's Batman Returns. That was
That's
one of my biggest childhood movies. I have the original one sheet poster, Sega game. Like it helped develop my early interest in film when I was a kid. That, along with many other Tim Burton films, especially Beetlejuice and whatever. But that'll always be my favorite. I think it's the perfect blend of the campiness that I think belongs in Batman for the villains. I don't think they should be too real world. I think that a little bit of campiness goes a long way. And also just brutal darkness at the same time. Like some of the concepts in that film are just so horrific, And that's why Tim Burton got kicked off the film. That'll always be my favorite Batman, I would think. Anyway, going down the line from there, I think my number 2 is Batman Forever.
Really?
Even over The Dark Knight.
Mm.
Yeah, I love Batman Forever so much. It was also such a big part of my childhood. I was the Riddler for Halloween one year. It still maintains the campiness, but goes too far with the campiness for me.
I love Jim Carrey, but
Jim Carrey as the Riddler is great. I love him, but I specifically love Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. I like the way it doesn't make any sense that he looks that way. Like within the film, what disfigures his face in it is like coffee got spilled in his face in the court scene or something. Like something stupid happened. It's like It doesn't make any sense, but
His cadence was so. It's like, you know, when the Riddler was like, "Show me how to punch a guy." It was like, ball up your fist, hold on back, and assert yourself. And then, you know, just that they hated each other apparently. Well, Tommy Lee Jones fucking hated Jim Carrey.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he fucking
Man, I could
hated
see
him.
that.
He's just like,
they're such different people. I feel.
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
It was. There's a bunch of interviews saying he's like, you need to shut the fuck up. That's what he told him.
He probably was super fucking annoying though. Like just
I'm
on
sure he's
set,
super
day
annoying
after
now.
day after day. Like I can see
just
it. And
the
with Tommy Lee
same.
Jones, he's serious all the time.
Jim Carrey never left character from what was Man on the Moon.
Oh, Man on the Moon. Yeah, dude. People hated his guts playing Andy Kaufman. I've seen behind the scenes footage and stuff. I watched that documentary. He was fucked up, man. He would fake being drunk. People would literally have to like carry him away because he was fake, completely unconscious from being too drunk and like crazy stuff like that, man.
Yeah,
He's a very, very outlandish guy, you know.
Yeah, and then he found spirit stuff too, and then that was a whole nother thing in himself.
But I'm a nostalgic guy. You know, that's how I am. That's a huge factor for me. I don't know if that's necessarily fair. You could probably call that unfair sometimes in my rating system. But Forever comes second, then The Dark Knight, ahead of the new Batman. The new Batman, I'm going to call that number 4.
Yeah.
I'm going to call number 5 Batman 1989. As much as I love Tim Burton.
Dude, I'm surprised that it's not higher up. I'm really.
I'm going to call that my number 5, I think.
You want to get nuts? Come on. Let's get nuts.
Yeah. I would put the new Batman at my number 4, and I'm not the biggest Batman enthusiast in the world, but it's my favorite thing when it comes to any superhero universe. Marvel, DC, anything whatsoever.
That's your favorite comic book character.
Always has been. That was a big thing for me when I was young, and I'm putting this at my top 4. So I think that's a pretty big deal, right?
Yeah, especially over a lot of nostalgia.
Great.
Like it's up there with like this might, I know, depending on how much you love the movie over time, you know.
I was gonna say, that
Could
might
move up.
climb.
It could move up. Could move down. You know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Right now, it's definitely at my top 4. It's one I watched it last night. I would go home and watch it again. Right now, I would watch it again if I could.
Yeah,
me too.
I would.
Even
too.
though it's 3 hours long, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
It's only 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, you watched it at midnight last time.
Yeah.
Shane, what about you?
Man, it's got to be The Dark Knight for me, number 1.
Numero?
This one, number 2. Batman Begins, number 3. And then The Dark Knight Rises, number 4. And then
Which one's your number 5? Come on, it's got which one? Tell me it's George Clooney
I'm gonna
and
get
Batman.
pop. I was gonna say Batman and Robin, baby.
Boom! Never leave the cave without
Is it?
Yes, I loved Batman and Robin because I saw it when I was a kid, man. Like it just
What killed the
I loved
dinosaurs?
Arnie. My dad raised me on Arnie, and like I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger in that movie, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be my favorite movie of all time.
I love the entertainment value of all the Batmans.
Yeah.
You know, it sucks that Ben Affleck isn't in any of them
Yeah.
because, you know, I actually love Batman vs
I
Superman.
thought he did great.
It would be 6. Like Batman vs Superman would be 6. You know, over.
I don't know about
the
all that.
director's cut of Batman vs Superman. I loved it.
For me, it's the CGI.
Excuse me.
For me, I like
Yeah, it's heavy.
yeah,
it's heavy.
we can beat Zack Snyder to death for his CGI.
I know.
but it's-
we always have this. We always have this
but,
debacle.
Yeah, for me, it just looks so.
So,
Yeah.
but well, no, are you guys ready to get into
We talking
spoilers?
spoilers?